come to a comfortable seat on your mat. Feel your sits bones grounding. Sit up tall. Draw the shoulders back and down. Reach up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes. Just let the head float between the shoulders. And draw the low ribs in together a bit. Notice if you're overarching through the low back, and just really try to find that length in the spine. And then just take a few moments to center yourself, to connect with the breath, to quiet the mind. And every so often, I like to pose this question to you, and that is, why are you here? What is it about yoga that brings you to your mat time and time again? And the answer is different for everyone, and it's different over time. You know, the reason you came to your mat the first time you practiced yoga is likely very different than why you came to your mat today. Just allow yourself to be reminded of that as you move through your practice, especially as you come to those challenging poses. Remind yourself what it is you love about yoga and why you're here. And for me, often it's the breath. The breathing consciously, I feel, has the most effect on my well-being. Let's just take a few moments to breathe consciously. To fill every crevice, every cell with that inhale. And as you exhale, just letting go of anything that isn't serving you this morning. Stagnant energy. Just let it all go. And with your next inhale, let's bring the hands together in front of the heart and interlace your fingers. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to press the palms away. Drop your chin towards your chest. Just stay here for a couple of breaths, really kind of rounding through the upper back a bit and stretching the arms out in front of you. And then with your next inhale, we're going to open the arms wide, lift your heart, gaze up at the sky, and we'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Just feel your whole front body expanding and opening. Let's take one more breath in. And then exhale, interlace the fingers again, press the palms away, tuck the chin. And we'll begin moving with the breath. So inhale, open. Exhale, press the hands away. Inhale, open. And then see if you can switch the position of the fingers as you press the palms away again. Alternating each time. Inhale, open. Exhale, palms press away. Do that one more time. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, press the palms away. This time on your inhale, keep the hands interlaced, reach the palms towards the sky. Pause here, draw shoulders away from your ears, squeeze those low ribs in. Round through the sits bones, inhale, reach a little taller. And then exhale, release the hands, let the arms come out shoulder height. And then turn the palms up and back, and down and back. We'll do that again. Finding some movement in those shoulder joints. And then palms towards the front of the room, reach long from left fingertips to right fingertips. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, bring your right hand to the floor, sweep the left arm up and overhead. Ground that left sits bone, draw shoulders away from the ears, turn your heart and your gaze towards the sky. Take another breath in, see if you can find a little more length in that right side body. Exhale, reaching out a little further through that left arm. And then inhale, we'll come back to center, arms wide. Exhale, take your left hand to the floor, right arm sweeps up and overhead. Press into that left hand to ground the right sits bone. Again, shoulders come away from the ears, and we'll turn our heart and our gaze towards the sky. As you breathe in, try to create a little more length in that left side body. Exhale, reaching out further through that right arm. And then inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, release the arms down. And now let's bring the other leg in front, switching the position of the legs a bit. And then take your left hand to the mat behind you, just propping yourself up on your fingertips so that you can sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, draw navel to spine. We're going to start to twist from the low ribs and only twist a third of the way, and then pause. Inhale, reach up through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist another third, moving the twist more up into the rib cage. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, you can bring that right hand to the left knee and start to turn your gaze over your left shoulder. And then inhale, find a little more lift through the heart. Exhale, finding a deeper twist. And then just working with the breath for a few moments, creating that space and expansion in the torso as you breathe in. Looking for a deeper expression of this pose as you breathe out, but that doesn't mean forcing yourself into the physical twist. Okay, sometimes it's just a matter of deeper intention. We never want to force our bodies into any position that's painful or could cause injury. And then on your next inhale, without moving anything but your head, just turn your gaze to look over the right shoulder. Just bringing a little stretch to the neck here. And then inhale, release the twist. Kind of wiggle it out a little bit here if you need to. And then we'll prepare to switch sides. Okay, so bring your right fingertips to the mat behind you, just propping yourself up on your spider fingers. Finding a nice tall spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. As you exhale, draw navel in, start to twist a third of the way from the low ribs to start, and then we'll work our way up the spine. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, more of the upper body begins to move into the twist. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale and bring left hand to right knee. Start to turn your gaze back behind you. Keep those shoulders soft and the heart lifted. Relax the jaw. Work with the breath. Expanding on the inhale. Finding that deeper expression of the pose on your exhale. With your next inhale, only move the head, Turning your gaze to look over your left shoulder. And then with your next inhale, we'll release the twist. And again, just kind of wiggle it out, maybe twisting a bit side to side or moving the shoulders around. Okay, and then we'll come to our hands and knees. And I meant to tell you before we started to grab a block if you have one. If you don't, sometimes an upside down trash can works, or you can get creative. Okay, so coming to your hands and knees. Shoulders stack over the wrists, hips stack over the hip, or hips stack over the knees. Fingers spread wide. Let's just start with some cat-cow movements to warm up the spine. So you exhale for cat as the back body arches towards the sky. And we inhale to our cow pose, letting the belly drop and the gaze lift. And then we really work to try to connect the movement to the breath. Beginning the movement where the breath begins and ending the movement where the breath ends. And of course, if there's any other variations of this that call to you, you're always allowed to embrace those, to honor those needs. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come up onto our knees, come to kneeling. Okay. Let's have a block on your left side in line with the knees. Okay, we're going to take the right leg out. So you want the arch of your right foot to line up with the left knee, and you want your left hip aligned over that left knee. Okay, so if you're out too far, you're not going to have that alignment. So take a moment to find that. Ground through the outer edge of that right foot. We're going to inhale and reach the left arm up towards the sky, and then reach over to the right. Keep the heart open, this left shoulder drawing back. So we're just working for this lateral stretch in the left side. And then inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, we're going to bring that left hand to the block, and you can find the height that works best for you. And then we're going to sweep the right arm across the floor. And then as you inhale, the right arm sweeps across the sky. We're making these big circles with that right arm. And then the next time you reach the arm towards the sky, pause there. So just take a moment here, squeeze those low ribs in, press the tailbone slightly forward, but draw navel to spine. Feel nice and strong through your core. Okay. Reach that right arm overhead. So finding that long line from outer right fingertips to the outer edge of the right foot. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to try to bring elbow and knee together. Now that might not quite reach, but you're going to draw that navel in as you do this. And then inhale, stretch it out long. Exhale, navel draws in, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, reach out. One more time. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, reach. Okay, now bring your right hand to your right hip. And we're going to lift that right leg. And then we're really going to try to keep our torso stable here. We're going to bring that right foot forward. And then we're going to take it back behind. So navel to spine, try not to move the torso. Isolate the movement to the lower body. Yeah, if you're on a hard floor, a little blanket under that left knee might be helpful. And hopefully you've got the space. All right, last time. And now place that right foot back on the mat. Find that engagement through your core again. And then just float this left hand, I'm sorry, off the block. That's going to really engage your core, your abdominal muscles. Good. And then we're going to bring our hands to the floor, walk your hands around in front. So you're in a table, but with that right leg extended. And then let's do cat-cows again. So it has a little different sensation in the body with that right leg extended. Just notice that. Keep the outer edge of that right foot grounded. And with your next inhale, just coming to that neutral spine, so that table position, but keeping the right leg reaching outward. Okay, inhale, we're going to sweep right arm towards the sky. Follow it with your gaze. Just opening through the chest, drawing shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, right hand comes back to the floor. Now inhale and sweep the left arm towards the sky. Little less range of movement here. And then exhale, we're going to feed that left arm through underneath the body. Bring your left shoulder and head to the floor. Press into the right hand for a moment to open your chest a little more. Okay. And then if you want to, you can reach that right arm towards the sky and either let it float back behind you or maybe bend the elbow for a bind. And then return to the breath. So again, trying to create that expansion, that space in the body as you inhale. As you exhale, looking for that deeper expression of the pose, not forcing ourselves into anything unsafe, but just really trying to open up. With your next inhale, reach that right arm towards the sky if it's not already. And then exhale, bring it to the mat by your face. And on your next inhale, we're going to press into the right hand, sweep the left arm towards the sky again. And then exhale to table. We'll bring both knees in. And I am going to put a blanket under my knees because it was getting a little hard. And then we'll move to the other side. So we're going to come to kneeling again. Make sure your block or your pseudo block is on the floor to your right. I know, Leslie, it's hard to travel with props, but you're doing a good job improvising. All right, so we're going to take the left leg out to the side. The arch of that left foot lines up with the knee, the right knee, and right hip stacks over the right knee. Okay, really ground through the outer edge of that foot. And then as you inhale, we're going to sweep right arm up and overhead, finding that stretch in that right side body. Feel the right ribs lifting up and away from the hip. Keep that right shoulder drawing back. And then inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, take your right hand to the block. And again, you can find the height that works best for you. And then we're going to sweep left arm across the floor in front of the body. Inhale, sweep it across the sky, follow it with your gaze. So nice, slow, big circles with that left arm, staying grounded in the outer edge of the left foot. And we'll do one more. And then pause when your arm reaches towards the sky. Hold here, draw shoulders away from the ears, squeeze those low ribs in. Draw your tailbone forward as navel draws towards the spine. So we're really trying to power up our core. Okay? And then reach that left arm overhead, finding that long stretch from left fingertips to the outer edge of the left foot. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we'll draw elbow and knee towards each other. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, navel to spine as you draw in. Inhale, reach out. Do that twice more. All All right, now bring that left hand to the left hip. Lift the left leg. Engage your core. Try to stabilize the torso. We're going to draw that left foot forward and back. Trying to isolate the movement to the hip, keeping the torso strong and stable. Do that once more. And then bring that left foot back to the floor in line with that right knee. Power up the core, engage your abdominal muscles, and then float this right hand off the block. Keep breathing. And then we're going to bring the hands in front, finding this variation of table with that left leg extended. And we'll do some cat-cows. Inhaling as the tailbone and the gaze lift. Exhaling as the tailbone tucks, navel draws in. And again, just notice how this feels different from a traditional table or traditional cat-cow, and also how it feels different than it did on the other side. And with your next inhale, we're going to come back to that neutral spine. Okay. And then here we're going to inhale and lift left arm towards the sky, gaze up at the left hand, really open through the chest. Reach back a little further. And then exhale, bring that left hand back to the floor. We're going to inhale the right arm high, follow it with your gaze, opening as much as you can through the chest. And then as you exhale, we're going to feed that right arm through underneath the body, bring right shoulder and head to the floor if you can. Press into the left hand to open the chest a little more, bringing that left shoulder back. And then if you want to, you can reach the left arm towards the sky or let it float back behind you, or even bend the elbow for a bind. Just finding a twist here, reconnecting to the breath. Reminding yourself why you're here, why you love yoga, what keeps you coming back. And there might be lots of reasons. And with your next inhale, reach the left arm towards the sky. As you exhale, bring it to the mat by your face. And then inhale, press into that left hand, sweep the right arm towards the sky. And exhale, return to table. Okay, let's bring the knees together to touch. Take your hands wide. We're going to make these big circles with the hips. So hips move out to one side, they draw forward, the other side, and then back. And then reverse the direction. And then come to center. From here, we'll prepare for a down dog. So bring your hands in underneath the shoulders, actually a little bit in front of the shoulders. Spread the fingers really wide. Tuck your toes under. And when you're ready, we'll lift up and back to this crotchety old dog, keeping the knees deeply bent for the first few breaths and finding some movement, some wiggle, exploring the different sensations, finding where you're tight, where you're open. And then allowing yourself to come into stillness to find your down dog. Pressing through the hands,
lifting the tailbone up and back, allowing some kind of bend to stay in the knees, and pressing your heart back towards your thighs. Relax the head and neck. And really focus on lengthening through the spine. With your next inhale, gaze towards the top of your mat. And as you exhale, we'll walk forward. So coming into a standing forward fold, feet hip width apart. Tuck your chin, let the head be heavy. Let's bend the knees a little deeper and interlace the hands behind the back. From here, you can let the hands lift away from the body any amount. We'll lift all 10 toes. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the shoulders away from the ears. You can release the toes back down, maybe shift the hands from one side to the other if that feels good. And then release the hands. Bend the knees a lot. Inhale the arms up in front for your chair pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sweep the arms down and back, folding over the bent knees, booty nice and low. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Exhale, sweep the arms down and back. Inhale, sweep them forward, press into the feet, rise all the way up, straightening the legs, reaching towards the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's bring our hands to our hips. Just doing a few things to loosen up the knees a little bit. So step your feet together. Okay, we're gonna bend the knees, kind of like you're in a chair, bring your hands to your knees. Okay, we're gonna do some circles here. You really get to feel the crunching in the knees when you do this. Kind of fun though too. All right, then the other direction. And then we'll come back up to standing. Step your feet hip width apart, hands to your hips. All right, we're gonna bring our weight to our right foot and lift the left knee. So find your stability here. If you need to hold on to something, please feel free to do that. You wanna draw the hips towards each other. So make sure that that right hip's not splaying out. Okay. And then let's just pendulum swing the lower leg. So the movement, it's happening mostly at the hip, maybe a little bit side motion in the knee. Good, and then try to keep the hips stable, and we're gonna make circles. I like to think of this kind of as stirring the bath water, it's too hot and you're adding cold or vice versa, and you're trying to mix the temperatures, reverse the direction. You can let the toes move with it. Good, and then we'll place that foot back down. Okay, ground yourself, feet hip width apart. Find your focal point, engage your core, and then we'll shift our weight to our left foot, lift the right knee, and then draw outer hips in. And then pendulum swing that lower leg side to side. Like I said, most of this movement here is in the hip, but there's a little bit at the knee joint. Good. And then we're going to stabilize the hip. We're just going to move at the knee, making these circles. And then reverse the direction. And then place that foot back down. Good. So come to Tadasana at the top of your mat. We're going to take a deep breath in, reach the arms out and up towards the sky. As you exhale, open the arms wide, lift through the heart as you draw tailbone down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bow, bringing hands through heart center, coming to your forward fold. And then inhale, we'll lift halfway. Exhale, fold. So bend the knees deep enough to plant your hands on the mat on either side of the feet. And then we'll step back to plank. Shoulders stack over the wrist. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. Wrap the shoulder blades onto the back. Press back through the heels as you reach out through the crown of your head. Squeeze outer hips in, engage your core. Feel nice and strong in this pose. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we'll drop the knees, lower the chest and chin, elbows hug into the body, and then inhale, come all the way down, and then scoop your heart forward for cobra. So again, elbows hug in, shoulders drop back, the heart is reaching forward, the tops of the feet are pressing into the floor. Just hold here for one more breath in, and then exhale, release. On your next inhale, push up through table, and bring your hips back to your heels. You can take the knees wide apart, we'll come into devotional or extended child's pose. So bring your forehead to rest on the floor. Breathe into that low back. You can even rock the hips a little side to side if that feels good. And on your next inhale, let's make our way back into downward facing dog. So pressing the tailbone up and back, finding that length in the spine, broadening through the shoulders. Let's inhale and lift that right leg towards the sky. Bend the knee, flex the foot, open the hip. Inhale, straighten the leg, level the hips. Exhale, bring knee to nose, shift forward, stacking shoulders over the wrists. Pause here, breathe in, create that space between you and the floor. And then as you exhale, you might want to lift that right wrist a little bit to give you a little extra space to bring that foot forward. Coming to a lunge. Right knee stacks over the right ankle. We're on our fingertips, maybe even on blocks if you have them, and that's helpful. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, straighten the front leg, bow forward. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, pyramid, straightening the leg and bowing forward. Option to flex that front foot. And then inhale, coming back forward again. Okay. Last time, exhale, pyramid. Inhale to lunge. Good, let's drop that back knee. Okay. And then just draw that left heel in. So I thought a little quad stretch might be nice for Leslie. She's been doing a lot of skiing and hiking. So it's just kind of a nice quad stretch. If you want to, you can bring right hand to the inside of that right foot and maybe capture that foot behind you. Doesn't matter as long as you're getting a little bit of a quad stretch here. Good, and then release that foot down. Tuck the back toes under. We're gonna lift that back knee and come back into our lunge. And now drop the back heel. Bring right elbow to right knee. And then inhale, sweep left arm forward, up, and around. So making big circles with this right arm. Staying grounded in the outer edge of the right foot. And the next time you inhale and reach up, we're going to come all the way up to warrior two. Okay. So deep bend in that front knee. You should see the toe on the inside of the foot. Okay, again, grounding through the outer edge of the back foot, trying to stack shoulders over your hips. Okay, so maybe you're reaching back just a little further through that left arm. Squeeze those low ribs in, draw tailbone down. Gaze out over your right fingertips. And then inhale to reverse warrior. Pause here, feel the right ribs lifting up and away from the hip. And then on your next inhale, press into the front foot, straighten the front legs, run a reverse triangle. On your next exhale, you're gonna lead with those right ribs, reaching forward, and then rotate the arms coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Okay? So draw shoulders away from your ears, stack your arms, make sure you're not locking that front knee. You're gonna tuck right hip under, navel to spine, and turn your heart towards the sky. And then lift all 10 toes. We tend to really grip in these poses. So lift the toes and then release them softly back to the mat. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're gonna bring left hand to the hip. We're gonna gaze down at our right toes, start to bend the right knee. We're coming into half moon pose. So we're gonna take it slowly and go only as far as you're comfortable. And if you wanna come to a wall, if you have one, that's an excellent option. Maybe reach for your block, placing the block on the floor in front of the right toes. Slowly start to step that back foot in, and maybe the toes never lift up off the floor. Maybe they just lift a few inches, okay? Whatever you do, it's fine. Just try to open through the hips as best you can. If you can lift that leg, you really want to, again, open the hips, ground through the standing foot. If you feel like your shoulders are stacked and your heart is open, then maybe you can extend your left arm towards the sky. All of this is optional, okay? And sometimes our bodies can do something one day and something different the next day. So just listen to your body, be kind to yourself. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're all gonna meet in a standing forward fold at the top of your mat. We're just hanging out in this forward fold, taking any arm variation you'd like. Maybe ragdoll, maybe the arms just hang. Maybe you move or you sway, or maybe you just find stillness. Let's now draw the heels in, and you might want to block underneath your hands for this. Bring the heels in, toes out, so we're in this kind of Charlie Chaplin asana, okay? Hands on a block if you have one. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, we're gonna bend the knees, come down into a squat as you lift your heart. And then exhale, straighten the legs and bow forward. Inhale, lift the heart, bend the knees. This might be a little more work on the knees here. Maybe what you're hoping for, Cindy, is more stretching of the knees. We'll do that too. And then fold forward. Let's do that once more. Good. And then when you're in that forward fold, now let's take the heels apart, coming back to that hip width apart. And then inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant your hands, step back to plank. Hold here, breathe in. Hold as you exhale, engage the core, find that length. Breathe in again. And as you exhale, we'll lower down. So knees, chest, chin like we did before, or if you want to come down in chaturanga, hopefully you've watched my chaturanga tutorial so that you're doing it safely. And then we'll all meet back in down dog. Take a couple breaths here in down dog. Find that length in the spine. On your next inhale, we're gonna lift the left leg high, bend the knee, flex the foot, open the hip. And then inhale, straighten the leg, level the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders stacked over the wrist. Pause here. Create that space between you and the floor. And then with your next inhale, we'll bring that foot forward, finding your lunge. Left knee stacks over the ankle. Strong and active through that back leg. Gazes forward, take a deep breath in. Exhale, straighten the front leg, bow forward for pyramid. Maybe you flex the foot if you want to. And then inhale back to the lunge. Exhale, straighten the leg and bow forward. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Last one. Good. Inhale to lunge. Now drop the back knee. And then bend that back knee, flex the foot, draw the heel in towards your glutes. So you might just stay here. Okay, if you want to, you can bring left hand to the inside of the left foot and reach back. If you've got that block handy, sometimes that's helpful. So a nice quad stretch and a knee stretch here. You can even try to switch hands. Usually we do it this other way. Good, and then release the foot, bringing the hands back to the mat, tuck the toes under, lift that back knee. Okay, and then drop that back heel. Bring left elbow to left knee. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward, up and around. The big circles with that right arm, root down through the outer edge of that right foot. Let the chest open as you sweep across the sky. And then on your next inhale, as you sweep that arm up, we'll come up into warrior two. So find your alignment here. You've heard all my cues 100 times, right? So feel it in your body. You know what to do, but find your adjustments through the body's sensations. What allows you to feel a little more open? What allows you to breathe a little more clearly? Gaze out over those front fingertips. And then inhale to reverse warrior, feeling those left ribs lifting away from the left hip. And then inhale, straighten the left leg, reaching up and overhead a little more with that left arm. On your next exhale, let the left ribs lead the way as you start to reach forward and then rotate the arms, coming to Trikonasana. So your hand can be on the shin or the back of the hand to the front of the leg, which is going to use your core more. Or if you have that block, feel free to place your left hand on the block. And then shoulders away from the ears. Tuck that left hip under, navel to spine. Heart turns towards the sky. Lift all 10 toes and then place them back down gently. Make sure you're not locking that front knee. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, bring your right hand to your hip. Take your gaze down to your left toes. Start to bend the left knee. Stepping that right foot in and bringing your left hand forward, maybe on a block. And just finding your own version of half moon pose today. So maybe just toy around a little bit with dropping that back foot, lifting. Maybe it's a little more dynamic. Okay? Or maybe you come all the way up and try to find that stillness. Grounding through the standing foot, flexing the foot on the lifted leg. If the shoulders feel stacked, then maybe you extend that right arm towards the sky. Just make sure you're still breathing wherever you are and that you're being kind to yourself and listening to your body. All of it's optional except for the breathing. Okay. Take one more big breath in wherever you are. And then exhale, we'll all release and meet in a standing forward fold. Uttanasana. Again, take any arm variation you like.
Knees can be bent as much as you like, and you can move or be still. And then with your next inhale, we're going to press into the feet. We're going to rise up in a reverse swan dive. So engage the core, reach the arms out and up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And again, inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, open the arms wide, lift through the heart, draw tailbone down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bow forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, down dog. Step the feet back, press the hips up. Final down dog in the morning. So make it your best. Let it really feel expansive, strong. Let the breath settle. And then let's bring the knees to the mat, this time knees together, hips to heels. Bring your hands back by your feet, rest your forehead on the floor, child's pose. And then bring your hands to the mat by your knees, press yourself upright. We'll come to seated, so take the feet out in front of you. So coming into your staff pose, Dandasana. Finding your sits bones, feet hip width apart. Flex the feet. Bring your hands to the mat by your hips, maybe even pressing into the hands and feel that little tiny lift. And if your hands are a little short, that's sometimes hard to do. You can use blocks here if you feel like that's helpful. Now, head and neck stack over the spine. We're really strong here through the core. Shoulders are down. We've got a nice long line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Okay, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to draw the navel in and up and lift one leg. Press out through the heel. So this is a nice way to build strength in that knee. And the more you use your core, the less you're going to feel this in the hip flexors. Right, release back down. Find that length again through the spine. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, draw navel in and up and lift the right foot. Press out through the heel. Leg is straight. Shoulders are back. We're reaching up through the crown of the head. Good. And then release. Stop. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up towards the sky. And exhale, reach long as you hinge at the hips and just fold forward over the legs. And then inhale, reach out long through the arms, rise up, and release the hands down. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs from here. So lay back, hug the knees into your chest, rock a bit side to side. And then keep the left knee hugged in, extend the right leg out on the mat. And then extend your left leg towards the sky. We're going to interlace the hands, bring the palms to the front of that left thigh. Okay? Maybe float the right leg off the floor. Now, as you exhale, you're going to push that leg away with the hands as the hand pulls back into the hand. So it's an isometric. Okay? So you're really working the core here. Draw navel to spine, low back towards the floor. both feet are flexed, both legs are strong. You're pushing the leg is resisting, and then release and hug it all in and rock side to side. And then we'll switch legs, so keep that right knee hugged in, extend the left leg out long on the floor, maybe floating it an inch or so. And then extend that right leg towards the sky. Interlace your hands, bring the palms to the front of that right thigh. On your exhale, draw navel to spine, low back to the floor, press that right leg away as the right leg resists. There's a lot of work going on here. Isometric, you're pushing with the hands and pulling back with that leg. Breathing. And then release and hug it in and rock side to side. Then let the feet come to the mat, arms out on the shoulder, or arms out from the shoulders, okay? Let's step the feet mat width apart and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Next time the knees come to the left, stay there, and then come into any kind of twist you want here. So maybe you just like to rest that left foot on top of the right knee. Maybe you want to completely wrap the legs or draw the knees in closer to your chest. Maybe you just want to stack the knees. So it's your choice. Just looking for a twist. And then closing the eyes again, finding the breath, not changing it. Just letting gravity do the work. And then coming back to center. Let's bring the feet mat width apart again, windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then the next time the knees come to the right, we'll settle into a twist on this side. So again, any kind of twist you want, doesn't even have to be what you just did on the other side. Find what feels good in your body and then settle into that. With your next inhale, come back to center. Let's give ourselves one more big hug. Lift your head up, curl into a tight little ball. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze. And then inhale, release, and stretch out for Shavasana. Palms turn up, shoulder blades roll underneath the back. Close your eyes. Soften the jaws. Just allow yourself to relax 10% more with every exhale. Getting heavier and heavier on the floor and lighter through the heart.
And take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Do that twice more. Big full breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And again. Start to slowly invite small movements back into the body, perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes, making circles with the wrists and the ankles. Slowly reaching the arms out overhead, finding another long stretch, walking out the hips. And then drawing the knees in again as you roll to one side in a fetal position. Taking these last few moments to think about what it is about yoga that you will continue to carry with you off the mat and into your day. We started with what brought us here. Now think about what you can bring with you. Yoga is a way of life more than it is an exercise or anything else. And then slowly start to make your way back to seated. And if you'd like to join me in an Om, please take a moment to unmute yourself. We'll all meet seated with our hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And we'll take a deep breath in together. Thank you all so much for being here. What a wonderful way to start my day. Thank you for sharing your energy. Have a great weekend. Namaste.